أشرقت نفسي بنور من فؤادي حينما رددت يا رب العباد.
189. وعن علي رضي الله تعالى عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إذا كانت لك مئة درهم. Ali radiallahu anh mentions the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, if you have 200 dirhams, وحال عليها الحول, and a year has passed over this wealth, ففيها خمسة دراهم, then you need to pay zakah 5 dirhams. Technically, if you work this out, 200 dirhams, if you have the nisab 200 dirhams, you need to pay 5 dirhams, that is 2.5%. وَلَيْسَ عَلَيْكَ شَيْءٍ حَتَّى يَكُونَ لَكَ 20 dinar, and there is no zakah upon you until you have 20 dinars. Dirham is the nisab for the silver. 200 dirhams nisab for silver, equivalent to 595 grams of silver. How much do you pay? 5 dirhams on 200 dirhams equals 2.5%. As for gold, the nisab is 20 dinars, which equal about 85 grams of gold. وحال عليها الحول, and a year must pass over this also. ففيها نصف dinar, and there is half a dinar that you need to pay. So half a dinar of 20 dinars equals how much? Equals the same, 2.5%. فما زاد فبحساب ذلك وليس في مال زكاة حتى يحول عليها الحول, and there is no zakah upon your wealth until a year, lunar year, has passed over it. وللترمذي عن ابن عمر ومن استفاد مالا فلا زكاة عليه حتى يحول عليها الحول والراجح وقفه, and whoever has money, 1 year must pass over it for zakah to be due upon it. In this hadith, we gauge number 1, the 2 nisabs. Nisab for silver and nisab for gold. Nisab for silver, 200 dirhams equals 595 grams of silver. The nisab for gold is 20 dinars, which equals to 85 grams of gold. If you have that amount or above, then you need to pay zakah. If you have silver jewelry on its own, you have absolutely no gold, you only have silver, you have 1000 grams of silver. Is it above 595? Yes, you need to pay zakah on that silver jewelry. How much? Do you give everything in zakah? Absolutely not. You are only obligated to pay 2.5% of its value. And as for gold, it is 85 grams of gold. If you have above that, then you need to pay zakah. And what's the value? 2.5% we pay in zakah. A simple method, if you do not have a calculator and you want to work out your zakah quickly, you look at the value, it's 5,000, 2,000 pounds, etc. 2.5%, it's a bit difficult on your mind. Just divide by 40. Whatever your total is, if you divide by 40, you would have your amount. Division by 40 is similar to working out 2.5%. We also had seen another condition, the condition of the hawl, the lunar cycle. And this is, take note, the lunar cycle. If, for example, a Muslim works out his zakah based upon the solar cycle, then technically he cannot work on 2.5%, but rather he has to work on 2.575% due to the about 10-day difference between the lunar and the solar cycle. So he works out on 2.575%. 2.575%. With regards to our rands, our dollars, our pounds, our euros, what nisab do we calculate it upon? We know the nisab for silver, 595 grams. We know the nisab for gold, 85 grams. In reality, if you had to work that out in riyals, it would be probably about 700 riyals, the nisab of silver. As for the nisab of gold, it would probably be around about 12,000-13,000 Saudi riyals. So one is 700-800 riyals and one is 13,000 Saudi riyals. A massive difference between the two, because the value of silver is extremely cheap. It's not expensive. So although it's 595 grams, it's very, very cheap. And the nisab of gold, gold is very, very valuable, so the nisab is high. We know the nisab for silver, we know the nisab for gold. As for our rands, our dollars, which nisab do we attach it to? What about my trading stock in my business? Which nisab do I attach it to? I have 800 Saudi riyals. Do I pay zakah? Well, if we say that paper currency, we attach it to the nisab of silver, then the nisab of silver is 700 riyals and I have 800 riyals. Technically, I need to pay zakah because I have 8 and the nisab is 700. I need to pay zakah. But if we say the nisab for paper currency and trading stock is attached to gold, then the nisab for gold is 13,000 Saudi riyals and I only have 800 Saudi riyals. There is no zakat upon me. I hope you understand this difference. And there is major differences amongst the scholars on this matter. You find the Hay'a Kibar Ulama in Saudi Arabia and even in South Africa, the vogue is that we attach the nisab to silver. Why? Because silver is of a lesser value and so more people would have 700 riyals. So more people would be paying zakah and this is beneficial to the poor. More people paying zakah, more people benefit. The poor benefit. These scholars who say, la, you attach it to gold, or example they say, you attach it to the higher of the two currencies, you attach it to the higher of the two values, silver or gold, whichever one is more valuable at the time. Their argument is that, number one, there is no zakah upon me until it becomes an obligation. I am born free until this obligation is set upon my head. If you said that the nisab is silver, that's what we follow for our paper currency. Technically, you are doubtful. You don't have 100% certainty. Maybe it's gold and you're obligating it for me to pay upon 700 riyals. So they said we go with the higher certainty and that is gold. Every person is free from the obligation of zakah until we have certainty. And we can only have certainty if we work it out upon gold. They also stated that in reality silver is so cheap and it's insignificant that zakah is that we take money from the rich and give to the poor. Technically, a person who has 700 riyals or 800 riyals, he in reality is still poor. So we are obligating the poor to also pay zakah. They said this does not make sense. That's why Sheikh Yusuf al-Qaradawi in his fiqh zakah, which in reality it is the most important book written and most extensive book in the topic of zakah. His doctorate thesis in 2 volumes, translated into the English language by Monzakaf and others, available, translated in the English language. Please purchase a copy and read through it. The most extensive study done on zakah by one single person. Sheikh Yusuf al-Qaradawi, he states, we attach the nisab of paper currency and trading stock to gold. Also Sheikh Yusuf al-Shubayli and Baytul Zakah in Kuwait and many other bodies, they have also stated a similar notion that we attach the zakah of paper currency and trading stock not to silver, because silver is too little in its value, but rather we attach it to gold or the higher of the two. If for example we came 5 years from now and silver rose in its value and it's higher than gold, then we would attach the zakah to that currency, to the silver at that time. And my heart also leans, after looking deeply into this matter, I also feel that the attachment to gold makes more sense. For verily a person who has 500, 600, 700 riyals, in reality he is deserving of zakah and he should not be paying zakah. But here in South Africa, the fatwa on the ground is that we attach it to silver, and so if anyone asks us in South Africa, we mention to them the nisab of silver. If they have more than that, then brother, you should pay some zakah. The zakah upon agricultural produce, take note, there is no whole and there is no lunar cycle attached to zakah on agricultural produce. We're not talking about cattle, we're only talking about agricultural produce. Whenever it harvests, that's when you need to pay your zakah. If it harvests twice a year, pay zakah twice a year. If you don't have a harvest this year, then there is no zakah due upon you. In summary, this hadith, a lot of fiqh. Number one, the nisab for silver, 595 grams of silver, and the nisab for gold, 85 grams of gold. As for paper currency, dollars, rands, cents, the euro, etc., the lira, trading stock, the Prophet ﷺ did not mention to us a specific zakah nisab for these. So the scholars made qiyas. And they said, well, we think that the currencies, we will attach it to silver. Other scholars said, no, we think we should attach it to the gold nisab. And some scholars said the higher of the two, and that, in our humble opinion, makes the most amount of sense. Wallahu ta'ala a'lam. Hadith number 490. وعن علي رضي الله تعالى عنه قال ليس في البقر العوامل صدقة رواه أبو داود. Another hadith which is very important in this chapter, and it lays down the similar principle that whatever type of animal or any object you are making use of, then it is not zakatable. It's an asset, yes, but you do not need to pay zakah upon it. Zakah is only due upon specific types of wealth. So this working animal that you use to plow your fields, or you use to carry your water, or you use as a means of transport, there is no zakah due upon it. And this forms part of the proofs of those scholars who also say that there is no zakah upon jewelry. Why? Because the jewelry is similar to your shoe and similar to your watch and your house, in that you make use of it, and so whatever you make use of, there is no zakah due upon that matter. And we will take a 5-minute break, inshallah, and we will return. Jazakumullahu khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.